y'all. Rasheeda is done. And no, this ain't some clickbait breakup tease. This is the collapse of a woman who's held it together for too damn long. After years of cheating scandals, secret babies, public humiliation, burner phones, and the kind of gaslighting that would melt a thermometer, Kirk Frost's arrest for drug use was the final straw. And now, Rasheeda has officially broken down. In leaked audio allegedly recorded after she left the reunion taping, Rasheeda can be heard sobbing, saying, "I'm done protecting a man who keeps destroying me." Wait, what? The Rasheeda? The one who stood by Kirk through everything? The one who turned his disrespect into brand deals and built a whole boutique empire on top of his foolishness? Yeah, she's finally had enough. So what happened behind the scenes that pushed her to the edge? Why is Mona Scott-Young allegedly panicking? And why are producers scrambling to remove Rasheeda's private breakdown from public footage before it mysteriously leaks anyway? This isn't just a scandal. This is the unraveling of one of love and hip-hop's last standing power couples. And trust me, what you're about to hear will shake you. Grab your popcorn. The facade is cracking. And Rasheeda? She's finally done playing loyal. Let's get into it. Let's not sugarcoat it. This ain't just another love and hip-hop argument caught on camera. This is a total meltdown, and for once, it's not Kirk crying about being misunderstood. It's Rasheeda. Yes, that Rasheeda. The woman who has turned public betrayal into a fashion line, who stayed camera-ready while her husband ran around like a Dollar Tree future, is finally reaching her limit. And y'all, the way it's unraveling? It's heartbreaking, explosive, and deeply overdue. It all started just 48 hours after Kirk Frost's now infamous arrest for drug use, when a leaked audio recording surfaced online. The clip, grainy, shaky, and clearly recorded without Rasheeda's knowledge, was allegedly captured in a private dressing room at the VH1 reunion set. In the audio, Rasheeda is heard crying uncontrollably, pacing the room, and saying the words nobody expected to hear from her mouth. "I can't do this anymore. I'm done protecting a man who keeps destroying me." Boom. The same Rasheeda who stood by her man through secret children, side chicks, endless DMs, public humiliation, and disrespect that could fuel an entire album? Now she's breaking down behind the scenes, and fans can't decide whether to cry with her or clap for her escape. Let's rewind for a second. Kirk Frost was arrested after video footage leaked showing him allegedly engaging in drug use at a late-night after-party in Buckhead. That clip alone sent social media into a frenzy. Kirk hunched over a table, snorting lines, mumbling about someone deleting the footage before Rasheeda finds out. Spoiler alert, Rasheeda found out. And then some. Fans were expecting her to stay silent. Or maybe issue one of those cold, PR-approved statements. You know, the classic Rasheeda move. "We're working through things privately," or "Please respect our family's journey." But this time, she cracked. And we don't mean a subtle crack. We're talking full-on collapse. The kind of breakdown where years of swallowed anger, fake smiles, and emotional betrayal just burst out all at once. Sources close to the reunion set say Rasheeda locked herself in her dressing room for over an hour. According to a lighting tech who asked to remain anonymous, he heard glass shatter and a scream that made the whole hallway go silent. One cast member allegedly tried to console her, probably Bambi, let's be real, and Rasheeda shouted through the door, "He ruined me. I let him ruin me. And I kept smiling through all of it like a dummy." Oof. That's not just pain. That's decades of emotional receipts getting aired out. And here's where things get even spicier. VH1 allegedly tried to suppress the footage. Producers were told to cut anything too raw from the episode. Why? Because they didn't want Rasheeda's breakdown to overshadow the Kirk storyline. Yes, you read that right. According to our inside source, Mona Scott-Young was livid when she saw the raw footage and reportedly said, "This ain't what we wanted. We needed drama, not devastation." So instead of helping Rasheeda, the machine moved to protect the brand. And let's be honest, it's the same brand that has fed off her humiliation for years. Meanwhile, the internet did what it does best. It exploded. The leaked audio clip went viral within minutes. Hashtag Rasheeda deserves better and hashtag Free Rasheeda trended for over 24 hours. Twitter turned into a therapy session. TikTok had creators reenacting the breakdown in slow motion with dramatic background music. Here's what fans were saying. That woman been a soldier for this man for too long. Let her rest. She gave him loyalty, and he gave her pain. Over and over again. This isn't reality TV anymore. This is abuse disguised as entertainment. And the comments kept coming. Some called it poetic justice. Others called it years in the making. But nearly everyone agreed on one thing. Rasheeda was finally telling her truth. Let's not forget what this woman endured publicly. Kirk denying their marriage, cheating rumors while she was pregnant, and of course, the child he fathered behind her back. Through all of that, Rasheeda stood tall, maybe too tall. Maybe so tall that people forgot she was human. But now that mask is off. Behind the glam, behind the pressed clothes and pressed hair, is a woman who's exhausted, broken, and finally willing to say what everyone else already knew. This man has been draining me for years. And it gets deeper. One source close to Rasheeda's inner circle claims that this was not the first time Kirk had spiraled. In fact, she's allegedly known about his substance issues for months, maybe even years. But she kept it under wraps to protect the brand. Not just the Frost Bistro, not just the TV contracts, but her own name. Rasheeda was trying to preserve the image of a strong woman who built an empire, even if that empire was crumbling behind closed doors. But after that arrest, she's not covering anymore. And the dominoes are falling fast. Multiple insiders claim Rasheeda has already moved out of the home she shares with Kirk. She's allegedly staying in a private condo in Midtown Atlanta, far from the cameras, far from the lies, and far from Kirk. One assistant who used to work at Pressed Boutique told us, she's tired. She doesn't even want to do fittings anymore. She said she wants to heal first. That's the first time I've heard her say the word heal in years. Meanwhile, Kirk? He's scrambling. Sources say he's been blowing up Rasheeda's phone, sending long apology texts, voice notes, even begging their kids to talk to her on his behalf. Too little. Way too late. Even his inner circle is backing away. One of his oldest business partners reportedly pulled out of a joint project they were working on. A close friend allegedly told the press, I can't be attached to this mess anymore. Kirk needs help, not headlines. But it's too late to turn this ship around. The world has seen the damage, and this time, it's not Rasheeda doing damage control. Because now, she's not just crying behind closed doors. She's walking away with every camera rolling. So while Rasheeda quietly disappeared from the public eye, the internet did the exact opposite. It exploded into full-blown meltdown mode. By the next morning, the hashtags were everywhere. Hashtag Rasheeda deserves peace, hashtag Kirk Frost cancelled, and hashtag Justice for Rasheeda. You couldn't scroll through your feed without seeing a dramatic edit of Rasheeda in black and white with Beyoncé's Me, Myself and I playing in the background. Even verified celebs started chiming in. Candy Burris tweeted, Rasheeda is a strong woman, but strong doesn't mean you have to suffer forever. And Erica Mena dropped a subtle, but shady, comment under a blog post saying, some of us gave loyalty to people who only gave us trauma. We see you, sis. Walk away. But while fans and fellow castmates were showing love to Rasheeda, Kirk Frost had other plans. Instead of staying low and letting things cool off, he decided it was time for, wait for it, his redemption tour. Yep. Kirk went on Instagram Live just 48 hours after his arrest, looking puffy-eyed and desperate, sitting in a half-lit room with gospel music playing faintly in the background. And y'all, it was painful to watch. He starts off by mumbling about being misunderstood, saying, people act like they never made mistakes. I'm human. I slipped up. But I didn't mean for none of this to happen. Especially not to Rasheeda. Then, he looks into the camera, tears barely forming, mind you, and says, she's my queen, my rock. I've done wrong, but I love that woman. Always have. Now, if this had been the first scandal, maybe, just maybe some fans would have believed him. But after years of cheating, lying, and gaslighting, nah. The comments section torched him. Here's what fans were saying. Kirk Frost crying on live is like a wolf crying after biting the sheep. Save it. You should have thought about Rasheeda when you were bent over a glass tray, sir. Redemption tour cancelled. We want Rasheeda's solo show now. But it gets worse. Because while Kirk was busy begging for sympathy, new footage leaked. Yes, another video. And this one left fans shook. In this second clip, allegedly filmed just hours before the arrest, Kirk is seen pacing around a hotel room in nothing but socks and basketball shorts. There's loud music in the background, a blurred figure sitting on the bed, and Kirk yelling, "I'm done hiding. I built everything. If Rasheeda wanna walk, let her walk." Then, clear as day, he turns to someone off camera and says, "She stayed with me for the brand. She ain't innocent either." Wait. Hold up. Is Kirk trying to flip the script now? After all this? Is he implying Rasheeda was complicit in the image while he spiraled behind closed doors? The internet didn't take kindly to that. In fact, people were furious. TikTok detectives immediately started pulling old clips from past seasons, moments where Rasheeda looked distant, disengaged, or low-key devastated. One viral video, with over 2 million views, featured a montage titled, "All the Times Rasheeda Was Dying Inside While Pretending to Be Okay." Meanwhile, an anonymous source from VH1 claims that Mona Scott Young is furious about the mess. According to the source, Mona had already mapped out a mid-season arc featuring a soft rebranding of the Frosts, more business ventures, less personal mess. But now, that arc is scrapped. The same source says Mona held an emergency meeting with producers and said, "We can't fix this. Kirk's gone too far. And Rasheeda's breakdown isn't a storyline. It's a liability." There's even talk of pulling Kirk from future episodes entirely, or at the very least, limiting his screen time to background scenes. That's right, Kirk might go from main character to silent cameo in the span of a week. And what about Rasheeda? Oh, she's been making moves quietly but strategically. One insider says she's already signed with a new PR team. Another claims she's shopping around a docuseries concept to Netflix titled Unpressed, Rasheeda's Truth. Allegedly, the show will detail her rise, her pain, and her new life without Kirk. Think confessionals, therapy sessions, and sit-downs with other women who've survived public betrayal. And fans? Already invested. Comment sections across every blog post are begging her to go solo. Give Rasheeda her own show. We don't need another second of Kirk's nonsense. Sis needs a glow-up era. No man. Just healing, hustling, and hot girl brunches. Rasheeda plus Netflix equals instant binge watch. Meanwhile, whispers are starting to grow louder that Kirk might be facing more than just public embarrassment. A fake but spicy, leaked court document has been circulating online, alleging that Kirk's arrest is now part of a larger investigation into a circle of Atlanta-based club promoters and reality TV stars who've been allegedly hosting underground parties, laced with substances. Of course, there's no official confirmation, but the storyline is messy enough to feel real. And even worse, some fans are speculating that Rasheeda knew about the parties, but kept quiet for the sake of protecting their image. Is that true? Or just internet madness? No one knows. But it's clear that public trust is fragile, and Rasheeda has to choose her next move carefully. Because in this world, you're either the victim or the villain. And Rasheeda's been both. Now here's where it gets truly twisted. Apparently, Carly Red reached out to Rasheeda privately to offer support. Why is that spicy? Because Carly and Kirk have a very complicated history, and fans are convinced this support is nothing more than a PR grab for camera time. But Rasheeda? She's not responding to anyone, not publicly, not on IG, not even in subliminal quotes. Her page remains dark. Her last post is still a hashtag Throwback Thursday from a week before the scandal broke. And yet, that silence is speaking louder than ever. Fans are now comparing her to Beyoncé during Lemonade, stoic, distant, and building an empire out of ashes. The only difference? Rasheeda might not take Kirk back. As the dust continues to settle, one thing is painfully clear. Kirk Frost's world is collapsing, and Rasheeda? She's finally watching it burn from a safe distance. Sources close to the situation say Rasheeda has already retained a high-powered divorce attorney, and not just any lawyer. We're talking about the same legal shark who handled a certain Real Housewife's high-profile split in 2022. According to insiders, Rasheeda scheduled the consultation under an alias, used a third-party burner number, and even had the meeting in a rented SUV parked behind a furniture store in Buckhead. She's not playing games anymore. Word on the street? This divorce isn't going to be quiet. It's going to be strategic, public, and potentially devastating.
Why?
Because Rasheeda allegedly plans to file on grounds of emotional cruelty, public embarrassment, and, here's the kicker, willful neglect of brand and family legacy. Yes, she's turning Kirk's disrespect into legal vocabulary. And we are living for it. Meanwhile, Kirk is reportedly losing it behind the scenes. Multiple sources say he's been drinking more, texting old friends for support, and even tried to book a sit-down interview with a podcast that got canceled halfway through production.
Why?
Because even they didn't want the mess on their name. The man is drowning. And Rasheeda? She's done lifeguarding. But the real chaos is brewing with VH1's executive board, who are reportedly panicking over the show's future. According to a senior producer who's now off contract, Rasheeda has quietly paused all filming, and she won't return unless the network agrees to certain terms. Allegedly, her demands include total creative control over her storyline, the right to veto Kirk's appearances, a full spin-off pitch titled Pressed But Free, and guess what? VH1 is considering it. Because while Kirk's mess might have ruined the Frost brand, it also made Rasheeda more powerful than ever. She's not just a wife. She's now the survivor, the star, the narrative. Even major brands are taking notice. An anonymous PR executive leaked that several companies have already reached out to Rasheeda for new endorsement deals, wanting to capitalize on her resilience arc. From wellness products to luxury candles, Rasheeda is being courted as the face of healing out loud. And we love to see it. But let's not forget, Kirk's mess isn't over. Not by a long shot. In fact, things just got worse. According to fake but oh-so-believable documents circulating online, Kirk is now facing a second investigation into tax evasion. Yes, apparently some of those consulting fees he wrote off were actually party expenses and hush money to stay-at-home side chicks. One source, who claims to have seen bank records, said he was writing off club nights as team-building retreats. The IRS allegedly caught wind after a leaked voicemail surfaced of Kirk bragging to a friend. "Man, I got this tax thing figured out. I just label it all as brand building."
Phew, sir. No.
So now, we've got drug charges, tax questions, a ruined marriage, a broken brand, and an internet that has zero sympathy left. Meanwhile, Rasheeda has been spotted attending therapy sessions, posting discreetly on a private burner IG account, which fans are trying desperately to find, and most notably, meeting with female entrepreneurs and mental health advocates across Atlanta. One of those advocates told a local outlet, Rasheeda doesn't just want to recover. She wants to help other women escape toxic relationships while protecting their image, business, and peace. And suddenly, this isn't just gossip anymore. It's a movement. Fans are now using the phrase "pull a Rasheeda" to describe when a woman leaves a toxic man without screaming or crying, just silently leveling up while he self-destructs. We've entered the Rasheeda Renaissance. Even major media outlets are jumping on board. One blogger wrote, "She went from ride or die to drive off and never look back. Iconic." And speaking of never looking back, sources say Rasheeda has no intention of reconciling with Kirk. Despite his alleged sobriety journey, multiple insiders confirm she hasn't returned a single call or text. He's been blocked from her main phone. Her team refers to him as the individual. And even their shared pressed email account, Rasheeda just had the password changed. It's over. And not just reality TV over, real life. Papers filed. Rings off. Checkmate over. And in the final twist of all twists, remember that rumored third video? The one fans were desperate to see? Well, it leaked. But not the way anyone expected. Instead of being a bombshell confession from Kirk, it was security cam footage from the Frost Bistro, showing Kirk stumbling out the back door, intoxicated after a closed after-party with at least 4 unrecognized guests. One of them, allegedly seen leaving with bags that don't belong to her. The footage was leaked anonymously to a blog, and now fans are speculating it was Rasheeda herself, or someone on her team, who sent it in to seal the public's final verdict. If true, that was the ultimate power move. No words, just facts. Let the world cancel him while she collects checks. So now, as the internet buzzes with think pieces, breakup edits, and memes of Kirk packing a duffel bag labeled consequences, Rasheeda is gearing up for a brand new chapter. The woman who once stood behind a man drowning in scandal is now standing alone, and stronger for it. And honestly, she deserves everything coming her way. The money,
The peace.
the new fans, the narrative. She's not crying anymore. She's commanding. She's reclaiming. She's Rasheeda. Unbothered. Unpressed. Unstoppable. So now that the cameras are off, the dust has settled, and the lies are floating in the breeze like Kirk's credibility, one thing is clear. Rasheeda is done. Done hiding. Done covering. Done bleeding in silence so a man can keep shining. And while Kirk Frost scrambles to clean up the ruins of the empire he sabotaged with his own 2 hands, Rasheeda is out here rewriting her story, with quiet power and a new chapter on the horizon. But the questions still linger. Will Rasheeda's spin-off finally give her the solo spotlight she's always deserved? Is Kirk's career truly finished, or will reality TV pull one last resurrection stunt? And what happens when the woman everyone underestimated becomes the queen of her own kingdom? Because if Rasheeda taught us anything, it's this. You can suffer in silence for years, but when a woman finally snaps, that silence turns into a strategy. Now it's your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is Rasheeda better off without Kirk? Should VH1 cut him for good? Or is this all just the build-up for the most savage divorce arc we've ever seen? If you love this breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for the wildest scandals, the fakest tea, and the most dangerously real-sounding drama in the game. Until next time, stay watching, stay nosy, and never trust a man who says, "It was just a little mistake."